and welcome to a demonstration of the Triage BSOTS functionality in the K2 Athena system. We're first going to start off with a part about how to take phone calls for a helpline or through the triage ward, and show you how patients will then be expected to attend the ward or given advice. And the next part of this demo will concentrate on the attendance process and the triage process after that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to show is the Athena system. You can see here under the locations panel, there will be a section for triage. We'll go into there and we'll see the ward list displayed, as you can see here. And to take a phone call, you simply do is hit the take a phone call button at the top here, and then identify the patient either by first name, surname, or patient hospital ID. So I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to type in the patient's name and then hit find. And I know that her hospital number starts with D8, so I'm going to select her there. And it's worked out that the patient's known and it's got a current pregnancy, so it's going to come up with a screen asking for the phone call details. So first of all, we're going to select where the location we're receiving the call is. So that's obviously the triage ward. You can see the list here of all wards that are relevant to your site. We're going to select the triage ward. We're going to give a call identifier. And then we're going to say that the number the patient's calling from. And that the patient is calling, so we can select who's calling and the locations they're calling from. If the patient demographics contains a phone number, that will be shown on the section here, and you can say that this is the number the patient's calling from, so you don't have to retype known numbers in. If the patient's calling about a neonatal call, about problems with their issues with their baby, you can set this to yes, and that will allow you to record details of that call outside of the normal maternity BSOTS process. In this case, we're going to say no, and if you don't answer that, it will assume that it's no. So that's all of those fields completed. We'll then go next and see some details of the mother's pregnancy. So this woman's already been booked within the system. So you can see details of her brief pregnancy summary there, and her obstetric history, which you can scroll down and see her obstetric history. You can then go on and see any pregnancy or fetal conditions that have been diagnosed. So there's an example one here of gestational hypertension. And then you can see any previous hospital stays or helpline contacts that have been recorded against this pregnancy. In this case, there are none. But you'll be able to see them and look at the details in these tables if they were present. We then come on to the situation for the phone call. So this is really where the BSOTS primary reasons calls for the helpline are recorded. So in this case, we're going to do reduced fetal movements, but these correspond to the call reasons on the telephone advice sheet issued by BSOTS. So we're going to select reduce fetal movements. We can then put some comments in if we wanted to. So I'm just going to type in some example text there and go next. So the next stage of the phone call process is to ask the woman some questions about why she's calling. So it goes on. The first one talks about fetal movements. So we're going to say they're reduced because that's the reason she's calling. But you could put all other types of stuff in there, and you can add comments as well about fetal movements and how long they've been going on, etc., etc. Next stage is about membranes. So we're going to say there's no membranes ruptured, so it disables the screens there, controls there. And the next one is about pain. We're going to say she's got mild pain, but not any abdominal pain. So the next one's about PV bleed. So we can say no, but we'll if you said yes, then it would enable all of these and be able to put more details in if we had them. So the next screen is talking about contractions. I can say there's no contractions and there's no symptoms of hypertension. Okay, so next is a big text box that allows us to put any additional information we want to about the phone call. And then we can go next. And because we selected reduced fetal movements for the primary reason for the call, it's then going to prompt us with advice from the BSOTS guidelines about exactly what should be happening for number 4, reduced fetal movements. And so it's got advice there: if they're asked to attend, advise not to attend. So with that in mind, we then set the post-call plan, which has 5 options here. So 2 of these are to attend triage, 3 of them are just to give advice. And so if we select just giving advice, it will then go on and give us the options to select that we're going to tell this what the callback advice we're going to advise the woman and the advice given. These are obviously tailored to the RFM reason that the woman's called, but they're and that will adjust depending on the primary reason selected for the helpline call. So what we're going to do is, as most reduced fetal movements are advised to attend, we're going to say that she's going to attend triage using her own transport, in which case then this location to attend is enabled, and from that you should select the correct ward. In this case, it's also going to be the triage ward, and then we can go next, and we can see that the advice screens are hidden because she's going to come in. So then this is the summary page about the call. We can say that the call is ending now, and the call was taken by myself, and supply my grade. And so any other discussions had with other colleagues can be noted here as well. And then we simply finish that thing. This is a debug screen, which needs to be ignored. We're just going to write the data, and we can see that then we've got under the ward overview here. So there's a number of different sections for the ward view. For this one here, we can see this is the ward overview of all the beds in the ward and all the people that are expected to attend. And you can see here the patient I've just taken the phone call for, Millie Scholes, is here on this list. She is giving details about her pregnancy, about the call she's made, why she's called, when she's called, and her assigned midwifery team. As well as that call there, we can see that she is in this dedicated screen for dedicated group for women expected to attend, and you can see the same detail is displayed there. And from this section, then we can either choose to admit this woman if we wanted to when she turns up, or we can view the phone call details. Okay, sorry about that error, but you'll be able to see those phone call details in the live system if you needed to. So that's the end of the recording. The next section we'll show is the admission of Millie into the triage unit and her triage process.